Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's reaction. No, it's not a reaction video, is it? It's an album review. Brett, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you turn off your camera and? Oh, you're okay now. You're fine.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Okay.
You're fine. So yeah, today we have an album review. Let's have a look at the request. This is a request from a year ago. This is when we did Kesha Warrior album.
Wow. Okay.
And I think we liked it. If you are surprised with Warrior, listen to her Rainbow 2017 and High Road 2020. She made completely with her creative control, which she was trying to fight for during the Warrior era. She even sued her producer manager. I think we've done Rainbow, haven't we? It doesn't matter. We definitely haven't done High Road. So that's
definitely haven't done High Road.
Yeah. So I've got it up here. 16 songs, 52 minutes. So you looking forward to it?
Yeah. So like I said, from Kesha one, I actually quite enjoyed that. Actually, I think there was a good. Because I feel that first time listening to Kesha from the Warrior one that we did, because I remember saying, I only really knew her of that sort of the TikTok song, that kind of very what I would call very Kesha, and then I think I was quite pleasantly surprised actually how diverse and actually not unlike that song, the songs were on there. So it was a nice sort of pleasant surprise. So yeah, so I think now if this is her, full control, it'll be interesting to see what she's really all about. With that, so yeah, I'm very intrigued to hear this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I don't remember the previous albums we've listened to be honest. I just can't remember. So, but I mean, she's like a kind of pop R&B type singer, isn't she? Type of thing, or not?
Yeah, it's definitely pop. Honestly, I think I remember from like a couple tracks. I remember from the first album that I quite like were more sort of that was sort of power ballads. They were quite empower. They were very empowering type songs. So I don't think there was as much R&B
Okay, maybe not R&B.
elements to it there, but definitely. And I think a bit of country possibly, or maybe I'm just was that from the other one we did. I don't know, but I do remember just sort of the very empowering pop song elements that she did.
So is it tick tock da da da?
Yes, that's the only song with it. Yeah, yeah, and we've had sort of kind of rapping ish.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, got a kind of rappy voice
in a really sort of high, annoying, like, yeah, really. I think, and I said the album ended up being nothing like that at all. So, yeah, this could end up being more like the TikTok stuff there. I get the feeling it probably won't be, but yeah, we'll see what it brings.
Let's do it. All right then, guys. We're going to be right back with you having listened to the album. So, let's get on with the review that we've now listened to the album. So, first track was Tonight. And what have I put here? I can't read. Song hasn't. Oh, okay. I can understand what I'm saying now. So the song hasn't gone the way I thought it would after the start. I remember this with the start was kind of quite nice, kind of like almost like it was going to be a ballad, and then it kind of threw me off after that. It's some kind of rap song with a normal pop chorus, I would say. I felt with this one I quite like the normal song part. That was quite a nice song, but the other parts were a bit kind of wacky for me. That's a word I'm probably going to use quite a lot, wacky. But I'd still say it was a promising start. I quite liked it. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so the first time I was writing down as it was playing was like, this sounds like it could be an ending track because it was very slow, it was kind of sort of emotional stuff we probably remembered from the last album. And then we had the sort of piano playing type song, and then it very quickly changed into bitch, are we going out tonight? Sort of vibes from there. And you're probably going to hear me sort of saying like the different elements and sort of a dark side and a light side to different sides of different tracks. And I don't mean them in sort of like one's better than the other, but we definitely heard sort of two different sides to Kesha in some of the especially opening tracks. But like you, I generally do prefer the sort of more classic pop vibe rather than the sort of, I didn't know how to explain. I've written like electro hip hop elements, or what I might start referring to as like more what traditional sort of Kesha elements from there. But overall, though, I actually didn't mind the song, which you're probably also going to hear me say quite a bit as well. So even though I definitely prefer the sort of pop classic bits, and it's sort of, and I put the fun right here, I don't know what to expect from this album. But actually, if I listened to that track again, I probably would understand what I was going to get from the album. But initially, that time, didn't know what we were sort of going to really get.
Okay. This track 2 is My Own Dance. This also has different parts to it, like with the first track. I felt it had a Shakira vibe to it in parts. I'm fucking everything is my favourite line of the song. Bitch, shut up and sing was also one of the highlights. I mean, I put this isn't a normal song in the sense of, build up, chorus. It's not that type of song. There's rap and all sorts going on. It was just, concoction of all different things, really.
Very similarities to the first track. Again, we've got the different contrasts of different styles and different styles of Kesha coming through onto this. But again, I actually quite liked it. It did kind of work for me. I did find myself enjoying it, even though, again, and probably like you, enjoyed the more sort of traditional, safer parts in comparison to the darker sides. And it's interesting. I didn't put lyrics for this one, but I have done for some future ones as well, which we haven't mentioned lyrics in songs for a long time. And even though it seemed like they were hard to pick up, actually at times they were very, very easy to pick up. I haven't mentioned Shakira yet, but I might mention her a bit later. And I think the nice part was this: we had this sort of like almost like country pop kind of vibe, and then again, I couldn't explain the sort of, again, I've done like sort of electric dance hip hop. Sweary side on the other side, but like I say, it does kind of work for me. I do quite like it.
So then we had Raising Hell. This was featuring Big Fredia. So feels messy, this one, like just feels all over the place, but it's certainly not boring. There's something going on, all sorts of things going on. Both of them are rapping. And I just put like, geez, this is tough to keep up and write about everything going on, because it was just, like I say, so much was happening in this.
Yeah, loads going on, and I feel we're only on the third track, and I know there's still a lot more to we're going to end up talking about and mentioning as well. Again, we've got these two sides of Kesha clashing in, which again I feel kind of works. This one actually reminded me more of the Shakira, especially her South Africa World Cup song. That had that sort of that carnival party feel, and then obviously the rapping and I've referred to them as sort of the light and dark side of there. But like I said, for me, it does kind of work, and I think you said it quite well there. Like, not in a bad way. Like, definitely not boring. Like I said, there's something going on. It kept me engaged. And I know they're not massively long songs as well. But like I took all elements from this one, and like with this particular track, like from her last album, where it was like she had songs which you sort of stand up and believe in yourself. I felt like this one was coming through with that one, as well as like those dark elements coming through as well. But yeah, again, kind of works for me.
So track 4, we had High Road, which I think is the name of the album as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
This was a mixture of pop and rap. This song feels fairly normal, like so far when it first started. I'd say the most normal song on the album up to that point, but it's still not normal at all. It's just more normal than the other 3 tracks before it. the rap feels so different to the pop part of the song. It almost feels like they just don't really belong together. It's so contrasting. And then at the end, we had a guy telling us to put our hands up and down as well, which was nice.
Yeah, it was nice from there. Yeah, so where I've said before, the other ones where we have had that contrast and difference and the sides mixing together, you're right, with this one, even though I still felt it worked a little bit, there was definitely more of a bigger contrast. It felt like the poppy bit was a lot slower, a bit more sort of emotional, even though it did have sort of swearing elements to it, but you could definitely feel a sort of more relaxed emotional side to it. And then the sort of rap where Polite sort of, it was almost like a cheerleading, that sort of generic sort of like cheerleading kind of elements to there. It was just so different to then the other part from it. And again, just feeling these two sides of Kesha sort of, and I sort of say it a bit further on as well, where it's almost like two sides where trying to fight each other to try and be at the front to get the most part of the song. I said I think I generally prefer maybe some of the other ones. I think it's just because the contrast was that little bit too different from there. Otherwise, I said not so bad. I said a lot going on, and yeah, sorry, a lot going on, but it's still fine. It's not too bad. I'm still actually quite enjoying the sort of mix from there, but it is different to the other ones.
With track 5, we had Shadow. This feels very different. It just did at the beginning, but I just put like, will it get messy? It's a slow song without any of the weird, wacky stuff. I thought it was a decent enough song and a real change from the previous 4 tracks come before it.
Yeah, so this one again actually reminds me a lot more of sort of the sort of previous album with Dimto. So where it was expecting kind of sort of certain Kesha stuff that I thought we were going to have, which we've had earlier, which didn't happen last album. This went back to more that sort of what I wasn't expecting of Kesha. Picked up a lot more sort of on. I really felt like sort of the lyrics came through more for me on this one. It was definitely sort of my favorite one so far, just maybe because it didn't have so much of the dark elements to it. So even though it was dark in terms of the lyrics and what she was sort of singing and talking about, I did feel the sort of emotion and actually quite enjoyed sort of listening to what I've got here, like getting your shadow out of my sunshine. I thought was quite prominent that came through. I like dancing in the rain. I'm going to love you though, even though you hate me. So again, you really feel, like I said, I don't know the deeper meanings of these songs, but I do feel something from them. And it's interesting that the lyrics were able to sort of stand out a little bit more for me in some of these later songs.
Okay. The next track then was Honey. I thought this was an interesting song, this one. It was like a low-key song with a backing group of some sort. Very softly sung song, almost speaking. I just felt it was quite unusual. I actually quite enjoyed this one.
Yeah, so I've put a simple question mark initially, like experimental song, but I feel like we might have some later ones that might sort of take it. But as you said, this was really weird. So we had sort of the intro and the background music, which was like just sort of like a I haven't sort of here, but it was like a grungy 90s kind of band singing, and then we almost had like a 90s girl band sort of singing through, and I felt more sort of like 3SL or even Destiny's Child. And it had that kind of sort of again, sort of like I wouldn't say like hip hop, but like it was like poppy hip hop elements with this sort of guitar kind of feel to it there. Like I said, it was really, really weird there. But again, I do find it kind of works together actually, and I found myself quite enjoying it and just trying to really pick out the sort of different contrast of like the singing styles, the sort of tune going on, and sort of the background music as well. So yeah, not quite maybe the experimental track of the album, but definitely has elements that it could have been. Yeah, interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this whole experimental thing that just goes out the window with this album. The whole album feels like it could be experimental, pretty much. Most of the tracks. Cowboy Blues. This sounds nice and mellow. A kind of country song in a way. There's a backing group, And yeah, just a nice, interesting song. This one. This is very, very different to certainly a lot of the earlier stuff on the album that we had. This was just, yeah, a big contrast.
Yeah, definitely a bigger contrast here as well. This is where I'm sort of referring to now, maybe like this lighter side or one side of Kesha is coming a bit more predominant than, and I'm referring to as the darker side, but I know you'll probably get what I mean there. So we've almost got like this sort of acoustic kind of song. I put reference here to Halsey, which become a big fan of since we've done this channel. That's what I'm saying. And it was really weird. So there was a couple of times where they were sort of singing, and it felt like they got the lyrics wrong, or she wanted to change the lyrics, which was obviously done on purpose because it was on the album. But I thought that was quite an interesting kind of thing to her. So I quite like that there. And again, it had some sort of like she was talking here, singing about sort of what would have happened if I had your kids. Did I fuck my whole life up? Did I miss my true love? So again, I was really getting this feeling, someone that she really cared for, but was actually the right person. And it did come a lot out of this song from there. So again, I think it's up there with Shadows, also one of my favourites so far on the album.
Right, the next track then was Resentment. This was featuring various artists. I didn't type them all out. There were so many. I think there were three of them actually, but it was just quite long. It's another country type song following on from the previous track. I think this one is actually even more country than the previous. I just put this is so different to a lot of the other songs on the album. Like just when you actually compare them to what we'd been listening to a few tracks earlier. But wow, this is just huge variation. And I actually really like this. And I thought the guest singers, they blend in well. They were kind of like, I suppose, singing together. So it wasn't like they were sort of stood out over Kesha. It was just they were, I don't know, just singing together. And yeah, really good song, this one. Probably my favourite, actually. I like this one. It's good.
Yeah, this was really good. Again, we've seen this more sort of lighter side from Kesha in comparison to some of the earlier tracks in the album. I was carrying on from the track before, this real strong country feel. Yeah, a few artists in there. The only one that I've picked out that stood out for me was Brian Wilson, and he was from the Beach Boys, so that's why I definitely wanted that one in there. And as you said, it was really nice because they were so subtly singing together sort of in the background. It was almost like they were sort of, I kind of put it here referring to like, are these guys sort of like backing Kesha to sort of make sure she stays on this country track in the right sort of way, maybe doesn't go too dark. So we'd had very little dark side on this one here. I think there was maybe tiny elements. I can't remember if that's what I put here. Or there wasn't any, I can't remember. But yeah, definitely, again, another song I really, really liked, following on from that previous one. That's a nice sort of country feel, which I know you're a big fan of. As well. And I said the only downside, it was only this is I think probably one of the shortest ones. Like a lot of them were under 3 minutes, but I think this was one of the shortest out of the under 3 minute kind of ones there. So that was my only downside to it.
Next up was a little bit of love. Struggling to describe this one, but it's definitely more Kesha-esque than I don't know, the previous few songs. But without the rapping, though, there wasn't. I don't remember any rapping in this one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad one.
Yeah, another one I didn't mind either. And yeah, the first one video, back to the old style of Kesha. So the Kesha I was expecting on the last album, which we didn't get, and now sort of back we had from the start of the album. But as you said, I don't think as dark as maybe some of the early ones we had there. I put here more reference of like Pink, felt like more like a Pink style kind of song as well. And my classic sort of line, it just feels like a good sort of album song. But I've also put could actually also be an ending of an album as well. So yeah, definitely some good vibes here. As I said, even though it's got some of the old style Kesha in it, but not as battles as extreme as some of the earlier stuff.
The next track then was Birthday Suit. And I put like, this is weird. It has this strange computer game speaky part. It's just a very unique start to this song, but I thought I really felt this kind of works. I liked all the different elements. Pretty good song, and I put here. Does anyone want to see Backstreet Brett in his birthday suit? Let us know
I
that.
thought you were going to
Let
talk
us know
about
in the
gaming
comment
now. I thought you
section.
were going to go, yeah, you want to see Backstreet Boys play some Super Mario or something. This is what reminds me of from there. Yeah, put that in the comments if you want. Who knows? Um, yeah, so as you said there, again, I've put experimental question mark, but again, as you said, the whole album could be, and I still think there's a more standout one that will take that crown of me giving it that award. And yeah, as weird as it's so weird as it was, with all the game sounds, bits and chorus, because it's so proper 80s game thing. It's not like elements of it. It's like, but there, it kind of works, and I actually quite liked it in a strange way. And again, saw some strange lyrics I found from this one is here. But yeah, the standout bit was just sort of the Nintendo Super Mario wannabe kind of song kind of thing. But yeah, it works quite well. So yeah, it was memorable, that's for sure.
Yeah, the next track was Kinky, but what kind of I was confused about here was it said featuring Kesha. I was like, is that a different Kesha? I like Googled it and stuff. I don't think it is. I don't know why it says that. Um, yeah, and I haven't got much for this one. She was talking on the phone. It's a very kinky song, and I don't have much more to say other than that.
Yeah, we should probably talk more about try and talk about the Kesha featuring Kesha elements because, like you, found that very strange, and then went back onto the wiki page, see if it's showing the DM. When you click on the Kesha, there it goes to the same Kesha page as so.
Mm,
But again, it was weird. It comes back to the thing, where I felt like there's these two sides because they are totally different. We've got a sort of her country ballads, emotional singing side, and sort of her what we refer to as like the TikTok style, which I've put here, which is what we come into this song here. I'm surprised they want to mention the phone call at the beginning because it sounded like they were going to talk to the Spice Girls. Don't know if you picked up on that. That's what it sounded like they were
okay.
going to do, but it was just taking the mic, and it wasn't. It said there was Kinky Spice and I can't remember
Oh,
the
yeah,
other Spice. They said there, but I don't know if it was a genuine phone call at the moment, just having a laugh with it, and while it made it onto that, I don't know. Lots of questions that I'm not going to really get the answers from here. I've said it. This almost feels like it could be like a K or J-pop girl band elements to it, modern style ones there. And again, really weird sort of 80s, modern, all these different bits coming in. But again, I felt like it did kind of work um, quite well, really. But yeah, it was a very kinky song to say the least. We might as well move on to the next one.
Right, so the next one then is Potato Song. So this is like a brass band playing an unusual song, but I didn't actually like this one very much. It's probably one of the my least favorite songs on the album for me. It's just the style of it that I didn't like. I think it was more of a kind of shouty style of singing as well, which I don't really like. So it was interesting. It certainly grabbed my attention, but the actual style of it wasn't really my cup of tea.
Yeah, I actually put a little thing with a little question mark. I didn't really answer. I was sort of sat on the fence there. Is Lee going to like this one? Question mark. I was kind of thinking no, but it may have surprised me. So, out of all the experimental tracks I've sort of mentioned before, I feel like this one should take the award. This is as much as it can, even though any of those tracks could have been. Um, just with the title and then some of the lyrics that sort of came up, and as you said, you had this sort of trombone brass band, and I sort of imagine these elephants walking on, and then we had like little, what I think they're called kazoos playing and stuff there. So there was elements that I like because it's that sort of trippy, which Beatles style, which I know you're not a biggest fan of when they did that sort of stuff. But again, I did find my toes tapping, and as weird as it was, I did kind of like it. Is it my favorite song on the album? Definitely not, but I liked that we had something completely more different to what we've had different already, really. And it also said there's a sort of a musical. It could be stuff from a musical kind of film, but yeah, very weird. Yeah, very weird song.
Okay, next track was BFF, Best Friends Forever, presume, featuring Rubble, who was also one of the artists on track 8, Resentment. Yeah, I think this is for me this is a better song than the past few. just a really nice, easy song to listen to. It's just not so wacky. There was that kind of wackiness wasn't there with this one. So yeah, I like this one. It was good.
Yeah, no wackiness in this one. This was a really, really good, nice sort of song. And as the title suggests, BBF, Best Friends Forever. It felt just picking up the lyrics and the way it was
Yeah.
sung, it totally felt like that. And I really had a nice smile sort of listening to that as well. And it kind of reminds me also of I think I put some of them down here. Some of those bands we've done kind of recently who like want to be 80s kind of style, and like the likes of Boys Like Girls. Don't know if you remember them. Not My Weekend, Marius Trench, that kind of sort of elements from it there. And again, I think Rabel's doing a great job. I think he was, as you said, he was also on one of the previous ones. And again, I think like making this narrative in my head where he's trying to keep Kesha on the straight and narrow and trying to stay, don't go down the wacky side. Stay, this is really nice, comfortable, good stuff. So I think he's done a great job in doing that. And again, it was a really nice, good standout song. Definitely one of the more favourite ones for me on the album.
Next up was Father Daughter Dance. This was another nice sounding song, and I don't think this will get wacky. I think based on the name of the track as well, the way it started, and it didn't get wacky. And towards the end, I was like, oh, her voice! She suddenly sang in a way that I hadn't really heard her sing before. I haven't really been focusing much on her voice. Obviously, we were talking about all her different styles of singing, the kind of rap stuff, but with this one, especially in that one moment there, really kind of her voice came to prominence, which added another bow to her arrow. So quite a nice song, that one. I liked it.
Yeah, really, really good song. And as we just touched on that bit, you were saying there, yeah, that sort of one bit where she's been really emotional, real powerful, and just it really stood out. Because you're right, we haven't really spoken much about her singing voice. And I remember from the last album being quite impressed because I was expecting to have more of the wacky Kesha on that last album. We had this sort of country, emotional, great songs, powerful sort of songs. And this is kind of that. And I really, again, the sort of lyrics and just the whole singing vibe. Again, I'm not normally great at picking up with lyrics and whatever, but I felt the all emotion coming through, and this sort of, again, her jumping between so it was about sort of not having a dad and wondering was she better off with or without having a dad there, and not being able to have him walk down the aisle or do a first dance, but then actually it was probably better to not be around, and just felt it almost felt like her brain flicking between those one into a song. So it really hit me, a really powerful song with this one here that I really like. And I think just on that, I almost was going to put it as probably my favorite song on the album. Well, I said, was it the tune? No, I just think with all those elements together there, really. So definitely want to put it on my playlist just to hear it back again and just feel to see where emotions go through from that one. And again, could have been a really interesting last song of the album, but we haven't quite got there because we've still got another one to do.
So Chasing Thunder was next. This had a gospel feel to it, but it also at the same time I thought had a slight country feel to it, not too much in parts. So it had it had quite a few different elements to it, but at the same time without getting too crazy, too wacky. So yeah, another interesting track for me, this one. Again, one of those that, like with a lot of these tracks, they're just not boring. There's always something going on. You don't quite know what's going to happen next.
Again, a really sort of interesting one. Definitely more on the lighter side and rather not the dark side of Kesha coming through in this one. I've put here reference to the song Timber, even though it's not as fast as Timber, but it had that kind of sort of uppish beat with it there. And another random song like Dream Catch Me by Newton Folker. If anyone knows that one there, kind of elements of that, which I quite like. And it's sort of this sort of go happy kind of song. And again, a song from the last album, her song I remember Rainbow, because I ended up putting on a playlist, so I quite enjoyed it, sort of this overcoming things, being powerful, and they had that, but it wasn't, obviously it was a faster version than that one there. And as you said there, like with all these songs, there was something going on. I felt engaged with all of them because it had elements to it. So to feel like there's a lot going on, but still kind of works. And yeah, and that sums up with the last song being on the album as well. Could have been more to it. Don't want to say, but yeah, definitely a different element, and it kind of all works together to make the track.
Yeah. So the final track then was Summer. This is another song with different parts to it. Had a nice slow part along with some different parts with some backers. And I thought it had a bit of a Pink feel to it at one particular. Oh, did you pick up on that as well? At one moment as well. So, yeah, not an outstanding track compared to the rest of the album, but not a bad track either. I didn't mind it. What about you?
Yeah, like you, I definitely picked on that Pink vibe, because I mentioned it before, and actually there's a lot of sort of Pink elements I found as we got towards the end of this one here, so I've sort of re-mentioned that again. I kind of said there's probably other songs I probably would have thought may have been a better fit as a last song of the album, but again, for such a one of the more long albums we've done in recent times, and with a lot of tracks on there, again doing quite short, I still found myself engaged and enjoyed that one at the end. I sort of was finishing off just saying like there's probably other songs that are more than Einstein preferred better, but again, still a really good solid song, and it hasn't affected anything on the album.
Good. So yeah, to sum up, I think continuing on from the positive trend that we've had recently over the last few albums, it continues. For me, this was a good solid album. This I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't one of those albums where I was sort of getting bored halfway through it. It was like, oh, okay, this is kind of samey. Was never quite sure what to expect. Was I going to get like a country type song? Was I going to get something with rap? Was I going to get something with a brass band playing? I don't know. You just never kind of knew what to expect. I think, like you say, there was this kind of like good side to her and this bad side. So some of the songs combined those elements together, the good and the bad. Some of them were maybe just had the good parts or her good side, if you know what I mean. And the album offered so much, it really did. It was a really enjoyable album to listen to. And I was impressed by it. I quite like Kesha as an artist. She's quite, or not quite. I think she's very artistic, I suppose, with her music in terms of what she does with it. It's definite thumbs up from me.
Yeah, and for me, like I've been really impressed with Kesha, because I remember back when we first were told we're going to list that, and I think we knew very little of her, even though she was massive. And I remember just joking going, it was just that TikTok song that we kind of both kind of knew and just thought of her as that. And then when we did that last album, it wasn't like that at all. It was this totally different sides that I really enjoyed from that. And I was thought that we're going to get the same on this one, and we did, definitely in parts. But then we also had that sort of cliche, classic, old style Kesha come in. And I said, I think like if it was all of that old style Kesha, may have got a bit boring by the end. You could argue maybe even if it was all the nicer stuff with Kesha, that could have been better. But the fact it had the blends of those both elements in there kept it guessing. As you said, there wasn't one boring track on there. Something otherwise. So overall, a really good positive. And I said not only just because again, we normally criticize sometimes where there's sometimes just unnecessary swearing and just for the sake of doing it, but it was also some real emotional and even elements where there was swearing or using bad language. It kind of fitted in some parts that it needed to as well. So we really did get a bit of absolutely everything on this album, even some brass band playing, kazoos playing. So a really positive thumbs up album for me.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it too. And that is it from us. So if you've got any requests for us, let us know in the comment section. This is being uploaded to our new channel. So subscribe to that, please, if you haven't already. Let's get the numbers growing on that channel. Maybe in the next video we'll explain maybe why we've created this new channel for these album reviews. So anyway, guys, that is it from us. We'll see you again soon for the next one. Goodbye.